Group dynamics. System of behaviors and psychological processes within a social group or between social groups.
Social identity is defined as a person's sense of who they are based on their group memberships, a concept Henry Tagel worked heavily on in the late 1970s. It is often used in the social identity approach, along with social categorization, a theory developed by John Turner and his colleagues. Social categorization is the way that humans mentally organize people into different social groups. In situations where there are multiple groups, people categorize themselves into in-groups and out-groups. An in-group is a group a person identifies with, where all members feel that they belong. Out-groups are social groups that a person does not identify with. In-groups typically have a feeling of indifference, disdain, or competition for out-groups. They tend to discriminate against the out-group to demonstrate their superiority.
In-group bias, the tendency to favor one's own group. Superordinate goals, shared goals that override the differences among people and require their cooperation.
In a book describing his experiences, he wrote, "Alone, there is no need for identity, for self-definition." In the 1990s, journalist Neil Ansell spent 5 years trying to find himself by retreating to a remote home in the mountains, but instead of the self-awareness and introspection he expected, he found that he was forgetting who he was due to a lack of social interaction. In essence, he lost his sense of social identity.
Our experiment took place over a period of 3 days. On the first day, we asked participants to split into groups of 4 and play charades. After taking a survey, we asked them to split into groups of 3, therefore having to kick out a member of their already established groups. While these groups of 3 played another round of charades, we treated the out-group, the group with the members who were forced out, poorly compared to the in-groups, further establishing the in-group out-group relationship.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me, like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you, like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do.
This is something you put on number 2, the opposite of damage.
On the second day, we asked them to again split into 3-person groups to play a game of taboo. On the third day, they were again broken into 3-person groups and played a game of contact. Afterwards, they returned to groups of 4 and replayed charades.
Every day I will remind you.
Over the span of the 3 days of our experiment, the participants, after playing the games in their different groups, filled out surveys where they were asked questions about the performance of their group and the other groups. Some of the questions were: are you happy with your group? Would you work with them again? How do you feel about the other groups? This allowed us to get an inside perspective as to how the group members were feeling about their situations.
Our experiment challenged participants' social identity.
Shot. Dizzy, disoriented, disheveled. Top guys, floor, tile, wall, zigzag. Picture, circle, square, Sphere. Stop. Hemisphere. River. Water. Metaphor. Earth. Earth. Earthquake. Earthquake. Let's go!
By establishing friend groups and then forcing those groups to remove a single person, we moved people from their in-groups to their perceived out-group. Additionally, the in-group that forced a member out also had to reevaluate their group identity as well as individual identities. A person's social identity can positively or negatively affect their self-esteem. According to social psychologist Alex Haslam, humans are social animals. Group life is therefore central to what we are as humans, and it is a key source of meaning, purpose, and direction. By the same token, if groups exert a negative influence on our lives, as they sometimes do, then social identity will be implicated in compromised health and well-being. One excluded participant reported, "They're finished before us, so they are better. Makes us anxious," referring to their feelings of inferiority compared to the in-groups when playing team games. This is different from the participants who had stayed in their in-groups, who had reports of "we're better" or "superior." When asked about the other groups, some in-group members responded with "they're weak" or "garbage." Social rejection had negative influences on cognition and performance. The rationality principle states that people will change their behavior to achieve the best outcome. In this experiment, we saw close friends intentionally excluding each other as a way of gaining status within the in-group, while decreasing the likelihood of being excluded themselves. We also saw excluded participants edge towards people they did not normally talk to in order to not remain groupless.
Split yourself into groups of 3.
A friendship will never die.
Oh, you guys are perfect. Are you guys perfect?
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
Okay, but the very nature of transitioning from groups of 3 to groups of 4 to 3 is to kick someone out.
Okay.
In conclusion, we found that having an in-group and an out-group can lead to both positive and negative results. As people were kicked out from their social groups, they began feeling inferior. Others felt superior when they successfully maintained their status within the group. These results tell us that by discovering not only how the individual works, but also how the individual works within a group can lead us to finding ways to better improve marketing, the way we teach, communicate, and learn, which can in turn help society overall.